Hello everyone, this is Mr. H and got Kayla again with me today. I got another art lesson that we're gonna work on today. It's kind of a fun one. This is where we're gonna get kind of into our subconscious a little bit, get a little bit of creative, and see what we can come up with something called pareidolia. Pareidolia is when you, for example, if you look up at the clouds and you start seeing animals in the clouds or something like that, or if you look at a wood grain long enough, you start seeing patterns and images in the wood grain. All right, now that we talked about pareidolia and looking at clouds or things and finding images in them, let's talk a little bit about the artist that's kind of influencing this project here. This is Joan Miro here. Joan Miro is considered a surrealist artist, abstract surrealist artist. That means he would look at images and he would abstract them, make them look a little bit differently. Oftentimes they say that he would work with his subconscious, looking at things and turning them into, images, turning them into art. So there's a couple of pieces of artwork here. Let me put this down a little bit here. Here's a couple of his paintings here, right here. Just kind of has some random lines all throughout his painting. Kind of turned it into a little face right there. Okay. There's some other ones right here. Just kind of all throughout his artwork, just random designs. And then what he would do is you just kind of look for little images in there. Okay. And then, there's a little one there. Yep. Kayla, what did you say this one looks like?
It looks like a chicken.
Reminds you of a chicken. So again, he just had some random lines drawn all throughout his artwork. And then he'd kind of figure it out and find little images in there and create some artwork out of it. Okay? So Joan Miro. Okay, so I think we got everything that we need to do. We've got pareidolia, we got Joan Miro for inspiration. So you ready to start, Kayla?
Yeah.
All right, so what we're gonna need a piece of paper, pencil to start with. And again, if you wanna use like markers, crayons, colored pencils, oil pastels, whatever you have available, you can use all that later. But to get started, we're gonna use a pencil. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna do just a little time drawing, 10 seconds. We're gonna take our pencil and just go all over our paper, random lines. We don't want to do too many, that's why we're gonna only do 10 seconds. And just kind of filling up our paper with random lines. You ready to start, Kayla? Mm-hmm. All right, on your marks, get set, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so now we've got some random lines. I know it might be kind of hard to see on this paper here, but we got some random lines all throughout our paper. Now, here's where we're gonna kind of get into our subconscious a little bit and practice that pareidolia and start looking for some images in your artwork. And that might take some time. If you don't get it at first, sometimes you might want to turn your paper all sorts of different directions. And like I said, sometimes they pop right out at you. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time. So if you don't see it right away, just keep turning your paper, or worst case scenario, you can just turn your paper over and try it again, okay? So for me,
I see something pouring into a pan.
you see, what do you see? Something pouring into a pan?
Yeah.
Okay. So what you want to do next is, if you start seeing something, I see a person that's kind of sitting down on a chair or something, maybe kind of thinking. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of outline with my Sharpie the edges of where I see this kind of person here. And hopefully, as I do this, you might kind of start seeing some images. And the cool thing about this, it does not have to be realistic. See how I kind of got this little person that's kind of thinking over here? Okay? So, what did you come up with? You got something pouring out into the water? All right. All right, so what I'm going to do next is working with some line design. I want to make these lines a little bit thicker so they're a little bit more pronounced. So I'm just going to kind of retrace them, make them a little bit darker so they really pop out to me. Or you could use a crayon. You could use marker, really anything. Just kind of make those lines a little bit darker. I'm going to do this real quick. Normally I would go a little bit slower. Take my time.
You can even sew it, though.
Yeah, you could sew it if you wanted to. Kind of just so I get that image, that pareidolia image, a little bit more bold and I can see it, okay? So there's my little abstracted person that's just sitting down, kind of thinking. Next thing you want to do is, if you want to, you just kind of outline some more of those lines just to kind of give you spaces that you can add some color in, just so it's not always just one single solid color or something like that. Okay, now, another thing you can do, just kind of looking through some Joan Miro examples here, these are some just random little blurps and blips and designs that Joan Miro would put in his artwork, and I just kind of drew a couple of them down.
I like to make up mine.
Yeah, and you can make up your own as well. And just to kind of fill up empty negative spaces, just kind of put in some little designs in there, whatever you like. Maybe I like these arrows. Maybe I like this kind of, you know, I like this little eye design right there. Maybe just put that in my little person there. Maybe I'll put that in there. Make it look like he's really thinking maybe I'll do two of them there, just to kind of make it look more like a person there. Okay. Maybe I want to put some, repeat them. Maybe I like this little circle thing here. Maybe I'll do another circle thing over here. Maybe I'll do more of these arrows. And like I said, Kayla, she likes to do her own kind of thing. You can certainly do that as well. Okay? All right, so we've got the basis here. And what you're gonna do next is start working with colors. But before I do that, I'm gonna show you some examples that I've been working on my own, just to kind of show you here. This is on a bigger piece of paper, but again, I just kind of started out scribbling all over, and then I happened to notice kind of a snake kind of a design there. So I kind of outlined that with the thicker lines. And then I added some more of those little random little designs in there. The one I did, just kind of going all over my paper, started to see a fly. So I kind of outlined a fly. Oh. And then I could even add, if you wanted to, you could add other parts just to make it look more like that animal and everything like that, or person, or whatever it is that you're drawing. Okay, there's no rules to this. Have fun, be creative. Okay. Kayla did this one earlier this morning. This is kind of fun. She kind of found a little bird in there. She kind of outlined those, and she added some designs there.
I added a lot.
It's this one here.
It's just a person.
Person, kind of a interesting design there. And again, it doesn't have to be realistic.
It has a
Okay,
turtle.
have fun, be creative. Okay, this one I saw kind of a person looking into a mirror, and this one right here. Let's see, kind of saw like a face, a side view of a person and everything. I did quite a lot bit more line design and everything like that. Just more places for me to add color and everything. Okay. Now, fun part, I actually have some student artwork that are finished. Here's one a student did for me a couple years ago. Kind of used oil pastels, watercolors, kind of did all sorts of designs in there.
Pastels,
Markers.
really bring it
So
out.
multimedia, you don't always have to just use one type of material. There's another one here. This person did kind of a nice big face. Kind of some cool designs, got the background all filled up here. This was kind of a pretty one here. Kind of made a butterfly out of this design here, and then all these different little areas that were closed in, added different colors and stuff. It's kind of an interesting one. This one, we had a laugh over this one. The student that worked on this one, we looked and we looked and we looked, and finally he's like, oh, I see Elvis Presley. So he kind of outlined the outlines of Elvis Presley. You know what? It looks cool. I love it. And then this is another kind of one right here. I like this one. Don't necessarily see like an actual image, but just the whole design, the line, the background spaces, all the little designs and everything. So, like I said, you can really do a lot with this project. So, like I said, what your next task is after you've got your drawing is get your crayons, your markers, watercolors, whatever you have available, and start making some really cool and creative art. What do you think, Kayla? You ready to do yours?
Yeah.
All right, do you have anything you want to add before we say goodbye to everyone?
I just really like doing this. My grandma made up a game like this.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
It was really fun.
So, again, doesn't have to be realistic. Have fun, be creative, get into your subconsciousness, practice your pareidolia. All right, we'll see you next time. Stay safe out there.